Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Fashion Experiment. I am Dr. Bridget, your professor of all things fashion, and today's topic is fall trends. So, I'm going to discuss the fall 2017-2018 trends for the season that we're approaching. And before I get into the discussion, I just want to remind you that I'm doing a whole series on fashion forecasting, and you'll really want to check out my intro to forecasting video so you can get a good understanding of what forecasting is, because most people think it's just whatever the popular look is for the fall or for the winter, but it's really all about consumers, how they feel, and how feelings influence your behavior, and that is how you choose to dress. And that's what I'm going to discuss right now before we really see what the trends are for this fall. So let's go ahead and get started. The next big thing. So, right now in fashion, we're really seeing a convergence of what has been acceptable, which is the slim silhouette, the skinny jeans, the bodycons, very form-fitting, figure hugging garments. And that is for men's wear and women's wear. The slim silhouette has really been the prevailing style. But now in fall, winter 17-18, we really see the introduction of a fuller look. So there's lots of volume with larger sleeves, bell sleeves, lots of volume with ruffles and a baggier pant. So we're, like I said, coming to a point where the slim silhouette and the looser fit is converging, they're meeting, they're touching, and we have to wait to see what will happen. But we're definitely transitioning away from that slim hug your figure hugging silhouette to something a little looser. And it's showing up this fall. So here is the 2017 color of the year. So let me say that Pantone is a color forecasting company, and in the fashion industry, fashion professionals look to forecasting professionals to give them guidance for what will be popular for upcoming seasons. So we have fashion forecasting companies and also color forecasting companies. Pantone is the number one forecasting company for color, and not just for the fashion industry. Cosmetics looks to Pantone to dictate what the colors will be for the season. Also, home fashions, okay, so interior design, as well as home improvement for just a bucket of paint. Because colors are very specific, and when you're creating colors, it has to be precise. So you can't have Pantone and 20 other color manufacturers of paint, nail polish, and other products that are sold purely because of the color. You can't have tons of different manufacturers producing the same color. Okay, you need one so it can be exactly that bright shade and tone every single time. And that's why the industry has really standardized color and how to produce colors and how to acquire a specific color. Okay, so this year's color is called Greenery, and it's really all about new life, a rebirth, getting back to that natural place, where you're not using a lot of artificial products on your body, cosmetics, putting a lot of artificial processed things, processed foods in your body. You're trying to get in touch with your natural self so you can be or attempt to be at a state in your life where you are more authentic because you are just representing who you are as your natural self. And that's kind of my interpretation on it and my take because I have more insight on what has been forecasted for consumers. So when I move to the next slide, you'll understand why I said what I just said. Greenery being a color that is associated with consumers sharing, communicating, getting to a place where they can be their authentic self. Okay? Rebirth, new beginning. Let me start over and take off the mask, take off these artificial things that I'm covering myself with or putting in my body and be my natural self. Okay, so let's move to the next slide. So this slide highlights a forecasting theme that's titled the Genderless Generation. So this is the idea that large groups of consumers, particularly the young consumer, as it says here, and the young consumer from the millennial generation and the Z generation, who are feeling like they're unsure of their sexuality, their gender, and they don't want to put a label on it. You know, every generation before them, they had specific lines between what's a male and what's female. And here we are with today's youth and young adults who are questioning gender roles and saying, hey, we don't need male, female roles. We don't need to be labeled. I just want to be my authentic self. I just want to be my authentic self and embrace who I am. Okay, so as a societal issue, I'll just call it an issue or topic or a way of thinking, this is definitely going to impact how consumers choose to dress, right? If we take away the gender label of a male and female and the typical idea of what a woman should look like and dress and typical idea of what a male should look like and how he should dress, that's going to have huge implications for the trends that we predict for men and women moving forward. So right now we already see some of those gender lines crossing here, where I say the lines between menswear and women's wear continue to be challenged because of unisex products that already exist in the market. So examples are sporty tracksuits. That's a style of dress that is acceptable for men and women. So that could be something that will definitely be a prevailing look because it's acceptable for all genders, doesn't matter. Also, moving forward, genderless clothing will be a big boom in menswear market. So this is a huge social topic that is not going away. You're going to continue to see it. And as it exists in our society, in our world, with consumers who are also living in this world, it's going to influence the clothing they choose to purchase, which will have a direct impact on what future fashion trends will be. Okay, and then the next major topic is the idea of redefining masculinity. And this is a topic that's mainly been pushed, or not pushed, but presented by Generation Z. So, and it connects directly back to the genderless generation. So, if we have a group of consumers, large group of young consumers who say, hey, we don't want to create a definition of a male and a female. We want to eliminate it totally. We don't want to be identified by gender. Then it also makes sense that current males in that same generation want to redefine what masculinity is, because that's a characteristic of a man, where a man should be manly. Well, hey, if we get rid of genders altogether, males and female, where does that leave the male, okay? Because people could still have expectations of what a man should be and do. And Generation Z, which is a young group of consumers, they don't want to exist with those constraints on them. They just want to be authentically themselves. All right. And that's, like I said, another big social issue that exists that is not going to go away. Consumers are still going to be faced with these feelings, and it's going to play out in how they choose to dress themselves. So let's look at some popular fall trends. So I just highlighted a few. I'm starting with couture. Couture is high fashion. High fashions are typically one of a kind pieces that are not available for mass merchandise. It's not mass produced for everyone to buy a carbon copy of it. They're unique, one of a kind pieces. So Chanel's couture line included lots of off the shoulder looks, lots of full skirts and long maxi skirts. And she did a lot of accessories with rosette flowers and hats. And then we have Jean Paul Gaultier with his take on menswear, and it's been reinterpreted for women's wear look. And the focus is definitely on the shoulders, a strong, broad shoulder, lots of layering, belted looks, and also the head wraps. These scarves are very popular for fall winter 17, 18. You're going to see lots of scarves. And I'll point out something else. These are looks that are at the highest end of the runway. This relates back to my fashion theories video, so definitely need to check out my forecasting trends and fashion theories, because I talked about the theories of adoption and how fashions trickle down. So these are looks that you're definitely not seeing in the stores now, mass merchandise retailers, and your Macy's, your Dillard's, those department stores, because it hasn't flowed down to that point yet. And this is where mass merchandise retailers will look for inspiration to see how well these styles perform, to then determine if they need to be replicated and sold in their stores to the masses at that level, your mall store level. So your couture looks are one of a kind looks. Is giving inspiration to the industry to determine if it's a look that will be acceptable by many people, so that it then can be replicated and made available to everyone. Because we definitely don't see one shoulder blazers, but it is great inspiration. Okay, Christian Dior is creating long, luxuriously flowing gowns with sheer and overcoats. So the sheer look is nothing new. We saw lots of sheer garments, sheer styles, spring, summer 17, and it's carried over into the fall, winter. It's a fuller look though. And that's something I had mentioned before. It's not tight, it's not restricted. It's very full and flowy. And then Gucci. We all love Gucci. Gucci always pushes the envelope, and it's really something smart that they do. They over accessorize. So I have a sweatband, I have a scarf, I have a cap, have a bold statement belt, have a handbag, have shoes, have rings. These are all products that Gucci sells. And on the runway, they're over accessorizing and layering the models so that buyers who go to the fashion shows see all the different products that they have available to order. Okay, it's not as if they're just throwing anything on the model and say, hey, go out, walk the runway. They're showing the buyer potentially all the different floral prints that they can buy. And the looks are sold as separate pieces. They're just styling the models this way to get your attention so that you can see all the individual pieces that they offer. But floral print is a very popular print, and that is what they focused on, just giving the customer multiple different floral prints. Fendi is also playing up on the sheer trend, and crop tops were popular last fall, spring, summer 17, and it will continue to be popular this season in the colder weather. So you'll see cropped sweaters, and you'll also see oversized sweaters. So like I said, it's a mashup. So you'll see the slim figure hugging styles along with the fuller styles. And this is a great example. The cropped sweater, which is form fitting, alongside the oversized sweater that has cutouts, and also Fendi played around with geometric prints in their collection. And then fall winter runway themes. Denim is always a popular theme. For this fall winter, the slim silhouette is still acceptable. I didn't include the slim silhouette, your skinny jeans and your straight leg, because that's what we already know. This is something new that will be introduced this season. So the all-in-one, or you can call it a jumpsuit, all-in-one denim looks, baggy taper, something that we have not seen that will be introduced this season. Again, it's a fuller look. The girlfriend jean. The girlfriend jean is a spinoff of the boyfriend. It's just a more tapered, fitted jean, but it's still some looseness through the hip. Culottes and wide legs. So the majority, the 3 out of the 5 looks are fuller. They're fuller alongside the slimmer. They're coming together and converging. The bomber jacket. The bomber jacket is still holding on strong. The bomber jacket was super popular last fall into the spring, and it's still holding on, but you'll find the bomber jacket in different fabrications. So you'll find designers and retailers offering it in velour and other warmer, heavier fabrics. The turtleneck and oversized sweater. So again, the connection and convergence of slimmer, figure hugging, and fuller. So the turtleneck, I'm showing 2 interpretations: the mock neck that is form fitting, and then the turtleneck that is baggy, and then the oversized sweater. This is definitely going to be a popular trend for this season. And then the bow blouse. There were several different types of blouses that were popular for this season. I didn't include them all. I chose to highlight the bow blouse, but the bow sleeve blouse, blouses with ruffle, blouses with lace detail, all of those are popular, and they're all garments that are fuller. It's not form fitting. It's all about volume, and that's what we're going to see moving forward. A transition from this slimmer silhouette to more looks that are fuller and baggier. And that's not to say that a slim silhouette is not going to be acceptable, but there will be a transition. All right, so that brings us to the end of our discussion of fall trends. I hope you learned something and enjoyed this discussion. This has been the Fashion Experiment, and you've just gone beyond the ordinary. Class is dismissed.